JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
We're only 3 races in, and tensions are building. The prizes are on the line. The points are being tallied up. Live here tonight from the world fastest short track. It's going to be VRX World Cup 2025 edition, live here on V-Speed. Presented live here tonight by Moser Racing, Pimax, Butt Kicker, and Superior Performance. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn. Camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. Connor, a lot's happened here in this off week, and we have a lot to talk about with the points, but consistency from our points leader, that's what's important. We stay to the competition. The stories that are on the side, we'll let those organically happen on the racetrack.
They're going to organically happen tonight. A smaller track than what we've been used to, and really a smaller track than what we're going to see the rest of the season. The only other short track we're really going to go to is Bristol, and that's in about a month. After that, we're pretty much a mile and a half and up. So this is going to be a rare short track race that we have this season. It's a fast one, like you mentioned. Iowa, very different from other short tracks. Races more like an intermediate sometimes with the high banking, multi-grooved action, and it's one of the few tracks that was built in the millennium. I mean, it's not even 20 years old. Quite yet. It's a very fun racetrack. An odd pre-paved job that they did. Still races pretty well, even with how odd it is, but should be a fun one tonight. You would not think you would have had as much drama coming out of Vegas. A caution-free race as we did, but there is drama. There are people who don't like each other, but the top of the board is Brian Hennings. He got his first victory of the season last week. He's the only driver with a top 10 in all 3 races, and he has that points lead by 12 over Dan Charles. Willis, Christian Key, the other 2 winners this season, are right there in the points. Hunter Hask, Collins, Wade Palmer, who has made a lot of enemies himself, Mike Howerton, Benjamin Richards, they're all in the top 10.
And you move on to the 11th through 20th position with Doug Helfer and all the way down to Mike Shivers. And there's a lot to be said about this point system. Some drivers maybe feeling like they should be higher up here, but it's only week 4. So still plenty of time to get up there and get that Pimax Air or, that butt kicker. It's still a win situation for these guys and try to navigate these points. But ultimately, you get to the end of this season, it's competition, and we're all friends here. That's the main thing I guess I wanted to preach at the beginning of this broadcast. But at the same time, that doesn't make for very good TV, Connor. So I think we probably, from a spectator standpoint, are going to have a good time here tonight.
I think from a spectator standpoint, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, this is going to be probably a challenge for these drivers, a very short race, and you get a short track race. You're not going to be very surprised if a lot of chaos ensues. We're going to see a lot of beating and banging, I think, tonight. I think we'll see a lot of contact, but we'll see a lot of good racing, especially at the front. Could see our 4th different winner in 4 races, or we could see one of those 3, Hennings, Willis, or Key, get their 2nd victory of the season, but it should be a fun one.
And we'll bring that schedule up on your screen just to give you a reminder of what's going on here with Iowa here on November 13th. Happy birthday to me a day before. November 20th, we'll go to Pocono Raceway, Talladega on the schedule, Charlotte, Bristol, Indianapolis. And like you mentioned there, Connor, this is one of the 2 short tracks that we'll go to, if you want to call it a short track, 7/8 of a mile here tonight. But Bristol will be more of the wild card survival race compared to this racetrack. This is more of that you can take your temper out on somebody. And that's the fireworks that we're going to see here tonight. Race analysis up on your screen with 90 laps, pit road speed limit 40 miles per hour. We're going to make it somewhere around 60 or 56 laps, I think is what they said on this 65% fuel tank. 2 green, white checkers available on an iRacing fixed setup. There is 1 fast repair as well. But now it's time to take you down trackside and get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the top spot here is Christian Key with a 22.660. Christian Key in the 97, putting it on the top spot here tonight. He'll have Philip Willis with a 22.672 to his outside. Row number 2 is going to belong to the number 12 of Jason Lyon. Brian Hennings, your points leader coming into tonight, will start in the 4th position. Row number 3 with John Hudson. Wade Palmer will start in 6th spot. Then you go back to 7th with Jeffrey Hunter, and Dane Shivers will start in 8th position. Rounding out your top 10 is Dan Charles, Julian Conde in the number 18.
Ellie Walton, the 818, one of their triple-digit numbers, will start 11th. Ken Couch starts in the 12th position. Greg Spiker, 13th position in the 10 Chevy SS. Mike Howerton, 51, one of the Mustangs we have, starts 14th. Mike Shivers, the 15th position, so the other one starting a little further back. Benjamin Richards, 16th position. 17th, Anthony Edrington, 17th, and the Army Chevy SS. John Kokenberg, the number 98 Goodwrench Chevy. Edward Fiedler in a Napa, one of the few Camrys we have. He'll start 19th, and David Collins, the 707, starting 20th.
21st spot going to go to Frank Chavez, and Kevin Mulcahy making an appearance here tonight in 22nd position, electing not to take the qualifying time. Then it's Kenneth Blackburn and Chase Rockford rounding out your field. Well, Connor, we have one more pace lap here, so I think it's a prime opportunity to make a pick. I know we're limited on know-how and knowledge of how these guys get around this place, but what do you have in mind?
It's going to be tough. It really might be a race of attrition, so I kind of have that factored in. I kind of like starting at the front in a race like this personally. So that makes me want to go Christian Key, but I think I'm going to go Brian Hennings. I think he's going to go back-to-back.
I'm going to go with the 12 of Jason Lyon. Showed a lot of promise here. He's just bought the racetrack. Kind of new to it, but at the same time, he showed a lot of speed. Give me the 12 car for this one. He needs it. But here we go for week number 4 of the VRX World Cup 2025. From the first short track we're going to do all season.
And we're going to go another time.
We're going to go another time. We have,
I thought it was coming off too.
It's the lights. It's the lights. It got me.
Well, they were off the lap before. I think we're going next time. We'll see here. We got deked a little bit.
Well, what do we talk about now? I mean, I've
I'll
never
talk about
been this far.
I'll talk about the front end damage on the 99. I'm not sure how that happened, but the 99's already got a decent bit of front end damage.
That would be Kevin Mulcahy in the 99.
Definitely a little dinged up. You can see not really the splitter, but the valence is kind of up off the racetrack, so not be surprised. I would assume he got in the back of the driver in front of him, and that would be David Collins, and he has rear damage, so punishment fits the crime there. I believe we're going green this time, though.
We're going to keep a close eye on the pace car this time. There we go. Here we go. Live for week number 4 of the VRX 2025. We're in Iowa. Green flag on V-Speed. Push sideways, that's a 3.
Off track, not going to be a yellow. He kind of saved it, but it did not trigger. The yellow's going to lose all those positions.
That's John Hudson. And Philip Willis actually took over the lead of lap number 1. And coming off of turn 4, he's going to lead the second one.
Yeah, not too much off throw the time on these fresh tires. And Philip Willis, if he had driver's right, he was able to get a good enough start in the state of the right of Christian Key, able to pinch him down a little bit. Key got really sideways. He just hit the wall off of turn 2 as well. There goes Brian Hennings by for that second position. So not a good start for the 97. We have all 3 of our race winners, 1, 2, 3.
So sideways for the 3 car of Hudson. We're going to try to get back on a replay and take a look at what happened there. There he is coming off of turn 4. Just got a little bit loose into the grass.
Seems like a lot of people getting loose off the corners, and it just seemed like a classic case of that. He just comes off of 4 and just completely loses the car. Didn't seem like he really got aero loose from anyone, just lost it on his own. Track's still pretty bumpy once you get past that unpaved section, I guess. There's that old pavement and the new pavement, and it's kind of a transition there that could have caught him out. Either way, he's lost all that track position. He's back pretty much dead last.
Looking off the back end of the 33, Brian Hennings in the 74. And you talked about the string of top 10s to start out. Still early in the season, but the 74 has been the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all 3 weeks. There was 2 drivers that had that and Brian Hennings keeping the streak alive so far.
And he's got the tied for the most top fives. The only other drivers with 2 top fives in 3 races, Dan Charles and Philip Willis. So like we said, not surprised, Dan Charles, I believe, is the furthest driver up in the points without that victory in 3 races so far. He runs in the 8th position as the battle for the lead's on.
74 to the inside, coming off of turn 4. He'll keep the nose there on the 33 of Willis. Takes it all the way down into 1. That's a little bit more than he probably wanted. A slide job coming off of turn 2. Lead change on lap 8.
Yeah, I thought Willis was going to try to pinch him down to the bottom, but he pretty much gave him all the room Brian Hennings needed to get enough grip out of the corner to slide up in front of that 33. So he gets the lead away probably more easy than he thought it was going to be.
Looking back here where there was just a pass. This is 15th position, so deep in this field. With a lot of drivers already kind of falling off. Got a pretty big gap here for the lead. We're watching Ben Richards go to the inside of Mike Shivers for 15th. And then it's Kelly Walton and Mike Howerton for 9th position, back and forth.
That's for the 4th position. Thought Richards might be able to move up a little further from back there, but can't quite do it. Walton, the other hand, trying to get forward, was up 2 positions, fighting for that 9th spot right now with the 51, who's up 4 positions. So he's moved up through the field pretty well. One of the bigger movers in the race, actually, with those 4 positions. Only Chase Rockford has matched him on that. So good start for the 51. A lot of speed. Getting through the field is going to be pretty tough. I mean, when there's not a lot of off-throttle time in these ARCA cars, it is really hard to pass without getting a push from someone or someone making a mistake.
Riding on board now with the 818 in 11th position. Car to the inside. Well, we had a car to the inside.
There he is.
It's going to jump.
Couch.
There's Ken Couch.
He disappeared. That was a perfect disappearing act. Trying to get that inside going, but he's going to have dirty air to work with as well. That's something Hennings is going to have to deal with to get the lead. He had clean air on the bottom of the racetrack, but Ken Couch has all these cars in front of him taking up that line, so it makes that pass even tougher.
Passing in Iowa. That is frustrating, to say the least. I know my personal experience at this racetrack is run the bottom, stay out of people's way. You don't want to be in this situation right here that we're seeing for 9th position with Walton and Couch, especially coming off of turn 4. The longer these 2 drivers do this, the more they're burning up their stuff.
This is a track that's notorious for chewing the tires up in any race car, let alone the ARCA cars where you have so much grip in these cars, and it's going to fall off, I would think, even quicker because of that. So whether the fuel makes it to halfway at lap 45 or not, you got to make sure your tires get there at some point. At some point in this run, you're going to have to conserve. It could either be these first 15 laps or in the last 15 laps, and splitting up 45 laps in thirds. So it's something these drivers kind of have to worry about. And I don't know how many drivers necessarily like this track. I like it. It's always been fun, but it is a challenging track to save the tires and go fast at.
Continuing to watch Brian Hennings lead some laps. I have to say, good pick there. Connor, you've been pretty on point here on V-Speed with the picks, and it's not very often that I get a chance to ask you. It's also not very often that we get an extra pace lap after I ask you. So now, with the situation you're watching right now, are we going to get a green flag race like we saw in Vegas? I mean, they impressed us with the talent at that racetrack, but this is a different animal.
I'd be surprised if we went fully green. There's just so many drivers struggling for grip already at this point. We already saw pretty much a half spin on lap number 2. I've seen Christian Key sliding a bunch. He's fallen back to 4th. I doubt we go fully green, but it would be impressive. If it does go fully green, I definitely like the 74's chances to hold on to that lead. He's pulled away from Philip Willis. It hasn't necessarily been close. He will have to deal with lap traffic at some point, but the 74 looks strong.
Watching off the back of Wade Palmer, Mike Howerton trying to figure out a way around this 43 car. We'll ride on board, and there's some onboard telemetry with him as well. There's a look at Mike Howerton live from his race room. WCW, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
And they're all trying to get around Christian Key. Oh, someone got booted behind. Dane Shivers got turned at turn number 4. He's still trying to save it. Now he comes back in front of traffic, and the caution is not out yet. There's not going to be a caution for that. Wow.
Okay, iRacing, let's back this up about 30 seconds and take a look at the instant replay. 96 car to the inside.
Hate to take away from Mike, but that was just shocking. He just got a little bit of a boot. I thought it was going to be a yellow right here. I don't remember. I believe we might have manual yellows, and if that's the case, they chose not to throw it. I can't imagine iRacing wouldn't have triggered that yellow, but no doubt Dan Charles just completely got into the left rear, came up the track into him, and 13 just couldn't quite hold on to it, and look at all these cars had to avoid him. Pretty surprised the yellow was not thrown for that.
Let's go on board with Ben Richards. This will make you pucker up.
I'll say, comes back up the track. Ooh, I bet the car about 2 cars in front of him definitely had the pucker more than him, but never a good sight to see a car overcorrect back in front of you. That's kind of spread out that battle for 4th a little bit further. It's now the battle for 5th, and they're kind of banging doors a little bit. Wade Palmer, Jeffrey Hunter, they've both gotten by Christian Key, so Key continues to fade. Mike Cowerton's got in front of all of this.
Top 5 up for grabs, 15 to the inside. Jeffrey Hunter not able to complete the pass, and he's going to slide it into turn 1. He was sideways. He was sideways across the trioval.
It's hard to get sideways in a trioval with these cars, but he figured out a way to do it. He really must have a lot of rear bias in that thing to have it that cranked sideways that early on corner entry. And that's not very surprising. I think to get this car to rotate with how much of a brick it can be sometimes, you need to put a lot of rear brake in the car sometimes. That's not just an ARCA thing. That's kind of what you do in the Cup car, Xfinity car. If it's tight, just put some rear bias in it. That usually will help, as Christian Key almost got into the back of the 43, but it just seems like he's got so much rear bias in it that it's a problem.
It's working, though, for now. He gets up to the top 5. Hunter completes the pass. He's going to send it into turn 1. And it could be an illusion. And sometimes these guys kick that right rear out on purpose, and you think they're going around. It's working for Jeffrey right now, but we're 26 laps into the run. Halfway through our fuel stint. 27 laps. With Brian Hennings up at the lead, and Philip Willis trailing about 7/10.
Yeah, Willis actually gained a decent bit last time by, over 1/10.5. He gained on Brian Hennings, this time by not as fast. Hennings pulled back away. Public's car looking pretty good. Always looks good. It has looked good the past few weeks. Just not quite close enough to challenge Hennings for that top spot quite yet.
And a shout out to Austin from Publix while we have this on their screen. There's a lot of conversations about that, by the way. I won't go into it.
I bet. Can't go wrong with Publix, though. There's just a lot of action around this track. It's pretty spread out, but there's still a lot of action. You got about 4 cars under a blanket for the 5th position. Benjamin Richards is involved in that. Greg Spiker almost chopped the nose of Chase Rockford off.
He almost had Fiedler slide up into Richards there as well in the midst of all that.
At some point, they will get caught by the leaders at this pace, but not quite yet. Leaders still pretty far back, but they're slowing each other down a lot battling like that as Hennings continues to lead. Gap's still pretty stable. If Willis kind of gets 0.5 there, lose that back. He lost another 10th that lap, so he's kind of steadied out around this 8 to 9 of a second gap back from the leader.
Third of the way through here at Iowa, week 4. Most consistent driver, your points leader, leading this race. Lap after lap, lengthening that lead out. 0.9 of a second on lap 32. Can he get it to a full second off of turn 2? He will.
Yeah, This is kind of a different pit scenario from what we saw at Vegas. Really, at Las Vegas, we saw a lot of drivers trying to save fuel to make the fuel number work, and it was kind of an awkward scenario where you could have taken probably 2 tires, and no one really did. It's 55 laps on a tank. It should be more straightforward. Halfway in the race is lap 45. So you should be able to make that pit stop and make it on fuel easily. But the problem is that if you pit at Iowa and that yellow comes out, you're going to put yourself 2 to 3 laps down, and your race is going to be over. So I would not be surprised to see most of these drivers just run the fuel dry to just not risk that happening.
When you're talking about tires getting chewed up, this is a prime example right here. Pole sitter started up front. Christian Key has fallen back to 9th in just 40 laps, roughly. That's not the recipe that you want. You want to change these ingredients, you need to come back on this next stint. We know that almost contact here with Dan Charles. That was a close one off of 4. But if you go back to the beginning of this race and now the second half, that's where you're going to have to adapt, Connor. If you ran the first stint and you lost 8 positions, something's got to change.
Something's got to change, but it's not a race. It's not a race that's usually, most races we'll cover here are usually like 200 laps or so, and you'll have that opportunity to get back to the front. You don't really have that in this series. A 90-lap race in Iowa goes by in a hurry if you get green flag running, so you can adjust and figure out what you were doing wrong, but by that point, it might be too late. That's why the practice session and the qualifying session before the race is so important, so you figure out what you're doing. You can't learn in this race. You can't learn in the middle of the race and get to the front and stay at the front, as you just hit the wall again pretty hard there. If you don't have it in the first stint, you're not going to have it when it matters. So this is going to be tough to recover from. He's still top 10, but like I said, he's lost a lot of ground. He did not even lead a lap, I don't think, from pole.
Yeah, and that's another factor, too. You put up the fastest lap in qualifying, and then you don't even get to lead one of these. That also psychologically messes with you.
Crash.
We got a crash on the back of the field.
David Collins, Kelly Walton, and again, no caution. And now the caution's out. The caution was thrown for that.
Yellow is out. Kelly Walton on the inside wall. Take it back on a V-Speed instant replay. Watch coming out of turn 2.
This was about the 12th position. Walton up the track into a wall, and I assume the car behind just booted them because of how big of a checkup that was. I've seen a lot of drivers do that. They got too high out of the corner and had to really lift out of it. You could see the gap the 818 had at that point for that position. Just hits the wall and nowhere for the 707 David Collins to go.
Getting colonnaded is the term that we use here. But honestly, I don't think that's not getting colonnaded.
I wouldn't say so. Yeah, there's nothing he could do. 818 lifts so fast to try to keep off the outside wall, and then the outside wall slows them down as well. Nowhere for that car to go. They both got pretty big damage.
So as Brian Hennings leading them down pit road. Watch this pit exit as the left sides go up on the 74, down and away for the 13. Here's the line for the 74, 13, 33 in the middle of that. Lion's going to lose a spot to Mike Howerton. Howerton took 4 tires. He's going to be 3rd position for this next restart. So it's going to be Brian Hennings on the show for back-to-back. Just about halfway through this race. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. More coverage continues of the VRX World Cup 2025 edition here on V-Speed.
It's racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back to our coverage here for the VRX World Cup, where Brian Hennings and Philip Willis are about to lead us to the green. First restart of the night, and Brian Hennings wastes no time back to the loud pedal, jumps up in front of the outside line, and here we go back green from Iowa.
Whoa,
Sideways.
sideways. There goes Jeffrey Hunter. Looks like he's going to keep it mostly straight. There goes his track position. Same thing that the 3 had to deal with.
So it's 2 and 3 wide.
John Kokenberg spun at the back. That would be a yellow either. Not uncommon. I mean, it's kind of like Homestead Miami, where cold tires at this track, you can spin so easily.
Problems here for Kokenberg, and now all by himself. And you also watch the 15 of Hunter fall back to 19th position. Full tires getting the best of these drivers. Brian Hennings, though, continuing to lead. Jason Lyon, Mike Howerton had actually gotten ahead position-wise of the 12. And Jason Lyon got back around the number 51. Wade Palmer running in the 5th position just behind, and we kind of built that up in the pre-race. Gotta wonder if we're gonna see some of those fireworks. Been pretty cordial tonight.
It's kind of a different race at this point. No one should have to worry about green flag pit stops at this point. That yellow came out at right around halfway, and everyone pretty much came down to pit lap 40, so you should be able to make it to the end on fuel. You just got to keep your tires in check. But fuel shouldn't be an issue, so these drivers can just race.
Sideways for Palmer. He got really loose out of 4. Has the 08 of Ken Couch all over the back bumper going into 1.
Couch is looking for that inside, trying to find any clean air possible and get him air loose a little bit. You can't do that in this car, and he'll do his best to do just that, but he'll take that clean air, really fired it into turn 3. It kind of shoved Palmer up the racetrack with how hard he entered the corner, but he just couldn't quite make it work. Palmer's in the wall. He's going to lose 2, maybe 3 positions.
And Dan Charles, because of that checkup, got to the inside of the 08. And here comes your pole sitter back to the 7th position.
This is a it was a big reset for Christian Key, because he was not going to really gain any of those spots back as Palmer way up the track again, trying that 3rd lane that used to work, doesn't quite work anymore with the old pavement. But big reset for Key to try to get some of these positions back. He's up 2 positions since the restart.
And we've got a lot going on in this camera, but I want to put it up there to appreciate it. So we're going to go back here to 11th position. We'll ride on board with Chase Rockford. That's a lot happening right there.
Been a lot happening with him tonight. He's up 13 positions from starting 24th.
Trying to match all the overlays. I don't have enough buttons.
You have enough overlays. But he's had the biggest climb of anyone, no doubt. I mean, he's got through half the field. He started dead last, so he's done a good job keeping his nose clean for the time being and getting through all this. He's another driver really seeming to have a lot of rear braking and kicking the right rear out on entry, trying to get through these drivers.
I don't have enough beard either. Look at him looking into the corner there. That's, you know, you're looking down a corner, you're driving the car.
I would say so.
Chase Rockford on board with the 71, trying to make a pass on Julian Conde for the 10th position.
Conde, another driver kind of up the track, trying to figure out if there's grip up there. He got a little bit of a run, but nowhere near what you would usually get. I think he just kind of missed the line into turn 3. He fired it into turn 1, though. Almost contact for that 10th position. He somehow got it back with it. Unbelievable that that was able to work. I thought that was about to be a crash.
Get away with it there. Just behind that, we've got another onboard camera. This is on board with Benjamin Richards in the 56, running in 13th right now. He's got a lot going on in front of him.
He's got pretty much the rest of the field right in front of him. He has the top 10 in his sights, Conde right up there, and he really doesn't have pressure from behind. Mike Chivers, John Hudson, they're side by side behind him for 14th. Hudson still trying to recover from that lap 2 spin. Mike Howerton saw him. He just got around Jason Lyon for the 3rd spot. Remember, he led a lot of laps last week. Just didn't have the long run pace when that race went fully green to hold off the 74 of Hennings. We'll see if it's a different story this week.
A lot happening there in front of Richards just now with the 13 getting loose. That is actually Dane Shivers. Checked up in front of the 10 of Greg Spiker for 12th. 56 going to go to the outside. Still trying to figure out a way around that. Top 5 is spread out.
Yeah, they're spread out. And Dane Shivers, he's actually a lap down. He's fighting for the lucky dog with, trying to see, I think Kenneth Blackbird is the driver that he has to fight with, but it's not a fight because Blackburn is not in the picture. So can imagine that when a driver in 12th is getting held up by the driver in 20th, usually never fun, but he can race however he wants. And now he's in that battle for that 12th position. Richards is going to get it.
There's a look at the 3 car as well. Mike Chivers. It's the father. So Dane, Mike, you can't let your old man show you up. I mean,
Hey, you can.
okay,
It happens.
it does.
It's okay.
It's rare.
No one will be mad. But your dad will blow.
I'm gonna probably keep tally marks.
And so will they. You don't need to keep the tally marks. We'll do that for themselves.
They'll do it.
The top 4 have definitely gotten away from the rest of the field, from Hennings back to Jason Lyon, but that 5th position's pretty stacked up. Ken Couch has kind of been holding up Dan Charles and Christian Key for the last 5 or so laps.
King Couch earned his way up here, though, up 7 positions to be in the top 5. We were talking about the 08 earlier. That was around the 10th position. Now, top 5, showing some speed.
Whoa.
But we're going to look 3 wide. Christian Key to the bottom of the racetrack. That's not the entry you want.
I think that was bad timing. I don't know if Dan Charles was blocking Christian Key. It kind of looked like that, but I think he was just trying to get to the inside of Ken Couch, and it was just bad timing. I don't know if Key appreciated it. He hit the apron in the middle of 3 and 4 there, and Charles got really tight underneath the 08. This is bringing Wade Palmer and Anthony Edrington back into this fight.
And again, the beautiful camera angles here provided by Dougie Beard. With every update that we have here. Look at that. That's just amazing.
It's a good
Love it.
camera angle. Just saw 3 and 4, like 20 seconds
Smoking
ago.
it. Yeah.
Mike Chivers got into, I believe, the 3 of John Hudson. They kept it straight, no yellow. But this battle for 5th
still
is
working on it.
brewing. They're working. Yeah, these 5 are definitely working on it. This is what Ken Couch needs, though. He's got a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room to maybe try to separate himself, but he's just very slow in the center, like he burned the right front off or something. Just cannot get through the center of the corner with any speed. He lost so much time there. I think he's driving in very deep, and it's just not working. Top 3 are also pretty close, by the way. Mike Howerton's chased the top 2 down, but this is
going to get 3 wide into 3.
Keys up the racetrack. There's a lot of room for it, but on exit, it really thins out. Charles is going to come to the track, and Ken Couch is going to lose 2 spots in one corner.
Beautiful work here. That's a little bit of give and take, I'd say.
97 hanging it out. The battle for 5th is done. It's either Christian Key or Dan Charles, and the 08 keeps firing into the corner hard. Oh, Key's up the track. He's into the wall, slid off the wall. You guys are all over the place.
That was a 77 down to the bottom. Anthony Edrington. He's going to slide up.
He's just trying to avoid the crash. That's what he was doing. These guys are going all over the place. Brian Hennings just went up the racetrack. He just lost the race lead. They're side by side for the lead now.
And it's Philip Willis going to lead this lap, but Mike Howerton to the inside. Remember, Howerton had a lot of success at Vegas.
I think Hennings hit the wall on the entry to 3 last time by and missed the corner. Let both these drivers by, and now Howerton's chased all of them back down. Oh my God, there's too many places to look right now, but right there, I think he hit the wall a little bit.
Did he hit it?
I think he barely hit it a little bit and just missed the corner either way.
I think he had help after that, too.
Couldn't quite tell. 43 just hit the wall, but he's going straight. He hit it there, and no, 33 never hit him. He just missed the corner.
Back to the live shot.
Howerton's got the lead away. 3 cars got a lot of front end damage. I think he had another incident with the 66 of Edward Fiedler, but that's still all straight, still going green. And the battle for the lead's changed. Battle for 5th is still not done. I'd say battle for 6th is not done. Ken Couch just got back by Dan Charles. Julian Conde is holding up a line in the 10th position. This is good stuff. Howerton's pulling away from Willis.
20 laps to go here from Iowa. These drivers good to go on fuel. Are they good to go on temperament? I don't know.
Ken Couch just got put up the track by Dan Charles. Now he loses even more positions. That probably won't go over well. 3 cars going to bring in the pit lane, all that damage. 77. Edrington's been quiet as well. I mean, he's gotten through the field, though. He started 17th. He just got the 8th position away, looking for the 7th position with Wade Palmer weaving all over the place, hitting the wall a little bit in front of him. Battle for 2nd side by side at the same time. Philip Willis trying to fend off Brian Hennings. Can't quite do it. Hennings is back to 2nd, but Mike Howerton got away.
Hennings with a slide job, a crossover out of 2.
Thought he was giving him the spot, but he turned out to be crossing them over, but I don't know if he's going to be able to quite clear him. He's just barely clear. Hennings tried to gas it up. He was too high up off the racetrack. He's in the wall.
Touch with the wall for the 74. Jumping back here to the 6th place battle. 7th place.
This will not end. It won't end well. It'll end at some point.
Well, I mean, checkers are records, bud.
We're going to get the records at some point. I'm honestly stunned, at least for the battle for the lead. It's not a battle right now, but it's almost the opposite of last week. We saw the 51 not good long run, 74 chase him down. Complete opposite this week, like I was alluding to. The 51 good long run speed was able to chase down both the 33 and the 74. Big contact there. The 43 really checked up the corner. That's going to lose Dan Charles those 2 positions, and now the 43 has a rear bumper dinged up. And Christian Key's loving that. He definitely learned from that first run like we were talking about. He's gotten away from all that.
There's the ding on the bumper right there for the 96, and we'll back it up one more time to take a look at it from the blimp camera.
There's going to be a lot more dings than that.
Here is, hey, how are you?
43 just really checked up the corner. I think that's why that happened. Mike Howerton's pulling away, but this is crazy.
1.5 seconds for the lead. Sorry.
That was a big dive. I was not expecting Edgerton to make that stick. He's gotten all the way up to 6th from 17.
Not out of the woods yet. Using the apron here to rotate that car through 3 and 4. And Dan Charles, King Couch, they're going to have company.
Couch hit it, stacked all these drivers up. Whoa, Benjamin Richards sliding in turn 2. Will this be a caution? He gets it straight and the caution's out. I can't believe that was as bad as it was. As not bad as it was, I guess.
It could have been worse, is what we're saying.
As not what Mike Howerton wanted to see. He wanted that to go green. Richards doesn't have damage from it somehow. But like I said, not what the 51 wants to see.
A little bit to unpack here on our VRX Esports replay. Check up on the 08. Couch was already kind of off the pace there off of 4, and Richards tags the, I think that was the 77.
He just missed the corner by entering so low. He still tried to fire it in there deep, and he just couldn't quite make it work. Now, Philip Willis is leading the drivers down pit road. Mike Howerton isn't like, this is weird, as we'll get a view of Benjamin Richards sliding down the track. This is very interesting. We got Philip Willis led the field down pit road, but the 51 of Mike Howerton is at the tail end, but he's the leader.
He's got a black flag as well.
So he passed the pace car, and he didn't, I think he passed the pace car, and he didn't realize it.
Uh-oh.
It's like he was probably supposed to let the pace car go and wait for it, and he didn't. Battle for pit exit. Side by side. And I think Philip Willis got in front of Brian Hennings. We did have drivers stay out. This is a lot to unpack because of the 51 doing that. I think Christian Key, Anthony Edgerton, Hudson, and Collins, or really just the 97 and 77 stayed out.
Here's the battle off of pit road.
This was a close one. That might be the battle for the win right now.
Man.
33 got it.
I don't agree with that at all.
Well, remember, it's not these lines, it's where the cones are. This isn't necessarily the pit exit. Right there, the 74 had him.
I don't have an angle to show that. Let me see if I can back this up one more time.
Either way, they're going to have to get through some 2 drivers on old tires. And Mike Howerton's pretty much out of the race at this point.
I don't know that I have a good angle for this, Connor.
Maybe some overhead shot.
I guess that's what I'm going to have to go with here. We're going to have to go with a blimp camera and give us the best angle that we can get here.
Remember, those green cones are where pit exit is. And usually in iRacing, the driver on the inside is always going to have the advantage because of however the timeline is. And I think right there, the 33 has the smallest of margins.
But again, going back to the 51, he passed the pace car. And so that's another situation that we'd have to rewind quite a ways to find. I'm going to try my best here.
We're going green next time. The pace car came out and he just went by it. It's as simple as that. And you can't do that. And obviously he got a penalty for it. So he was on his way to a victory. Yellow comes out. He passes the pace car. And now he's pretty much out of contention. But now we got 2 drivers on the front row who've really flipped the script. You got Christian Key and Anthony Edgerton on old tires staying out. And right there you see him pass the pace car as we're getting ready to go green. That was the reason why he got the penalty, because he kept going.
Your pole sitter and Anthony Edgerton on old tires. Will they spin them? No, they won't. Little checkup, though, with a 74 on the back bumper going into turn 1.
Ooh, Edgerton's up the racetrack. I cannot imagine these tires are going to hang on for very long. Edgerton's already lost.
Oh, 77!
Hard hit. Back into traffic. No caution yet. Christian Keys kept the lead. Brian Hennings almost spun. That will not be a caution. I cannot believe that's not a caution, but Christian Key still has the lead, and Philip Willis is looking for it.
6 laps to go, and they cross the stripe. Key and Willis go side by side. Willis falls back, or Willis takes the lead. Key falls back. 77, smoking all over the racetrack.
And saw Brian Hennings had a big moment the last lap, kept it straight. He just could not get through these guys on older tires. Jason Lyons actually gotten ahead of him, so he's had a great restart to get to the 3rd position. But Philip Willis coming to 5 to go. This might be all the room he needs.
Here comes my pick.
Oh. Hennings hit the wall hard. He's in the wall hard. He lost a lot of time doing that.
And he's going to end up almost 3 wide into 1. Jeffrey Hunter, Dan Charles go by.
This is a disaster.
Hennings struggling.
Absolute disaster. He thought he was going to have the best opportunity on the short run to get through all these drivers, but he is absolutely tanked as Christian Key is falling back on those older tires.
Oh man, if I'm Jason Lyon right now, I've got enemies in my mirror.
He's trying to get away. If he can take a 2nd place away from this, I think he'll take that, though. He has not been anywhere near the top 3 all race, and he's found himself in a run-up spot, trying to chase down Willis for the victory, but it just can't quite close in.
Last time by, identical lap times almost.
He was a touch faster. Fastest of the top 3 was actually Ken Couch, but he not too far away at this point. Coming with the 2 to go this time by. He's side by side. Oh, Wade Palmer booted Ken Couch in the middle of turn 1. He saved it. They somehow all saved it. Now they got to rejoin the track. Ken Couch will not be happy about that. Christian Key just turned him. Now it's a big crash down the front stretch, and now we got a caution and a huge crash. Mike Shivers has crashed. Benjamin Richards has crashed. The 66 is in the wall. Wow.
And it all comes apart here with
Rex
3
Spiker.
laps to go. It's overtime.
Just like the last yellow Mike Howerton didn't want to see it, well, that's the one Philip Willis really didn't want to see. And this started middle of turn 3, up ahead of Benjamin Richards, although he ends up getting involved. It was a 0-8 who got spun off the front, I believe, of the 43. And then Christian Key just, I don't think he meant the right hook the 0-8, but he did. And then all sorts of chaos happened into turn number 1.
Back us up a little bit more.
Battle for 3rd. 0-8 got the 3rd. Wade Palmer looked to the inside, dove it to the inside, I would say, and washed up the track. Spun the 0-8. 0-8 made a great save, but now all these drivers got to give room to get back up off the track. Well, Mike Howerton gained a lot of spots. Christian Key tries to split through the gap right there, and there just was no room for it. And then 66, all these drivers just go into the wall trying to slow down. Spiker hit it hard. Benjamin Richards hit it hard. 3 definitely made an enemy there, I would say. Right there, dives in. And yeah, actually, from that angle, it almost looks like the 0-8 came down. Maybe wasn't expecting the 43 to be there, but at least from that angle, definitely looked like the 43 wasn't really at fault like I thought. And Christian Key just didn't want to check up. It's coming to 2 to go. He's trying to get any spot possible, so he's not going to lift and try to split the gap. Really good angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he slides up a little bit, but the 0-8 comes down. That's not really on Wade Palmer as much as I thought.
I'm gonna
It's
watch
really
it
Christian
on board
Key.
with the 43.
Christian Key tried to shoot the gap. It just did not work. You call it a late move, but it's 2 to come to 2 to go. Tough. I think call that racing.
The
And Christian
aftermath.
Key, right there, hard hit. And poor Greg Spiker might have, he was one of those drivers who definitely got the worst of it as well. He had nothing to do with it. Tell you what, through all that, it was a great charge through the field for Mike Howerton. He started tail end, and he got all the way up to 6th in all that chaos. He might be able to recover a decent finish.
after passing the pace car and the situation that changed. 51 back to the top 10. Ryan Henning's back up to 5th in this as well. And a couple of drivers that came down pit road as well. They're going to have much fresher tires than the rest of this field. Christian Key, of course, who stayed out. He's going to restart in 12th position. Wouldn't be surprised if he got a top 10 out of this with, 5-6 lap under green fresher tires. I think he can do that. But it's going to be a tall order to get back to the lead.
I'd be shocked if he did, but I won't put it fully past him. It's going to be interesting. I believe our first, at least it's the first green-white checkered I have seen. I believe it is the first of the season at all in the 4th race of the season, which is no surprise. First short track brings the first green-white checkered, and we don't have 3 attempts. We have only 2.
2 green-white checkered attempts, and they should be good to go to the end of this race. Fuel could become a factor, though. If anybody has auto fuel checked, took exactly the amount to make it to the end of this race, we could see some drivers dive in for a top off, and that could change the outcome if we get another extension of this race. Philip Willis on the outside. It'll be 2 laps to go. Restart zone back underway. Lots of wheel spin in the back of the field.
Kind of surprised they gave Brian Hennings the jump. Puts Hennings back to 2nd, maybe gives him a chance.
We're going to come off of turn 4 to get the white flag. Area 51, a little block down the backstretch.
Wow, Jason Lyon really blocked the 51. Didn't work. He got all the way back to 3rd, but I don't think he has the time to get the top 2.
And it's Philip Willis with the white flag one more time around, presented by Moza Racing.
Hennings is there. He just got a little bit too tight out of turn 2.
I think that's all she wrote. I think Philip Willis is going to find his way to victory lane for the 2nd time it's been since Michigan, week number 1. And Philip Willis, Howerton around, but across the line, Philip Willis is going to find victory lane 2 times in the World Cup.
He's our first 2-time winner. Got a little bit fortunate, but he got it. He got to the front when it mattered and held on to it. Led those 20 laps. That's the first 3rd place of the season, the first podium of the season for someone finishing backwards across the line. But what a race for Philip Willis.
Howerton completely 180 across that start-finish line.
I think he was trying to avoid Brian Hennings, who hit the wall hard. I mean, Hennings went for it. He really tried to gas it up out of 4 and hit the wall hard, and Howerton tried to avoid him and could only spin in avoidance. I can't believe no one else hit him either. Right there, Benjamin Richards almost hit him. There comes another car who almost hit him. And they were wrecking in behind, I think, somewhere. Right here, Hennings, you can see he's up the track. He's going to hit the wall, and 51's going full send trying to get there, but he doesn't want to hit him. So he pretty much spun the car out to save Brian Hennings. There's one, I can't believe Benjamin Richards missed him, and I don't know who that is that just missed him.
71 of Chase Rockford.
Oh, Rockford came in as well. There's that crash. He was in his own incident, and he almost got in another big one. That was him and John Hudson having contact. Oh, there's some contact after the race.
What was that? 818?
That was Jeffrey Hunter full throttling Kelly Walton for I don't know what reason. There's definitely more to that. There has to be. Jeffrey Hunter restarted 7th and finished down the order.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. That was blatant.
Post-race interviews with your top 3. This final race results. We're also going to pull up Kevin Mulcahy when we get an opportunity. You are watching the VRX World Cup 2025 live here on V-Speed. Post-race coverage for week 4 right after this.
VRX Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back to our post-race coverage of the VRX World Cup in 2025 edition. Week number 4 has concluded with a little bit of overtime. 90 laps wasn't enough at this 7/8 of a mile. 95 laps to finish it out with 3 cautions, 5 lead changes. On a race results up on your screen. It's Philip Willis with his second win of the season. Brian Hennings keeping that top 10 streak alive. He should retain the points lead. And it's Mike Howerton Coming across the start-finish line in reverse. We'll get an interview with those drivers in just a moment's time. We'll also have to bring up Kevin Mulcahy when we get a chance. Dan Charles is going to finish in the top 5 in the 96 car, solid all day. Quiet 43 car of Wade Palmer will finish in 5th spot. Jason Lyon, who was competing for a top 3 here tonight, ends up falling back to 6th position. Julian Conde will finish in 7th. Christian Key in 8th. Frank Chavez in 9th. And rounding out your top 10, it's a driver that I thought was destroyed. Benjamin Richards gonna get a top 10.
How he got all the way up there, but I'm sure he'll take it. David Collins finishes 11th. Chase Rockford gets through half the field, up 12 positions to get the 12th from starting dead last. Ken Couch, who wrecked the second to last caution, he had a top 5, borderline top 5 run going and ends up 13th. Edward Fiedler in the 14th position. Jeffrey Hunter, who we saw full throttle Kelly Walton after the race, restarted 7th, ends up 15th. Dane Shivers, the 16th position, is where he finishes. Got in front of Mike Shivers just barely, and those were the last 2 drivers on the lead lap, and Dane gets the bragging rights for at least another week. Kenneth Blackburn, a little tally mark. Kenneth Blackburn gets 18th. Greg Spiker, who we saw destroyed in that second to last, or really the last caution we had, 19th, and Kelly Walton, who got destroyed after the race ended, finishes 20th.
John Hudson just struggled all night. It started on lap 2, went sideways, and so he's going to end up 21st position. He also got involved there on the end of the race, and I believe it was the 71 we saw there on that replay. Then you have the 77 of Edrington's going to finish in 22nd. Kokenberg, problems early, and we'll get a word here with Kevin Mulcahy in the number 99 in just a moment. That's going to round out your field. Good to see him on the racetrack, by the way. But the first driver we're going to talk to is our second-time winner this season. It was Michigan the last time. This time around, it's going to be Iowa, so completely different racetracks. But Philip Willis has found his way back to victory lane. We already did the shout-out for you during the broadcast, and I made sure to get it right for you. I also had a lot of thoughts while saying that, but Philip, what I wasn't thinking about here tonight, we picked 2 different drivers to win this race. And based off of what you were doing in practice, what you were doing in qualifying, your setup, and everything in between, I even talked to you pre-race, and it didn't sound like you were confident here. I think Iowa's your new favorite racetrack.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'll take all the support I can get. I hope y'all enjoyed that show tonight because I had a lot of fun tonight.
It was excellent driving in the first half of this race, caution free, all the way up to, I believe it was lap 43. Then we go into kind of cautions, but not cautions, incidents, and people getting into one another. Field gets jumbled up there at the end. We go into overtime. You seize the opportunity.
Yeah, on that last restart, I knew the outside had to be the pick because inside here, you get the tires too hot. They're going to want to slide up, and I did not want to have to get into anybody. So they're going to have to get into me tonight on the restart. But it was a lot of fun tonight. I even enjoyed doing the crossover move on Brian, and I know that upset him.
Yeah, we saw that coming. The slide job out of 2, you go back to the inside, pull the same thing, but executed it perfectly. I think dirty air off of turn 4 is way worse than dirty air off of turn 2, and that's why you were able to get to that situation. But let's go back to, you were able to do that. That was earlier in the race, so you deserve to be up here. You definitely had a top 3 car all night.
Yeah, it was running good. The public Chevy was where it needed to be tonight. I like running behind somebody, letting them use up their stuff, try to save my tires as much as possible, and I think that helped out tonight. But I had to put on a heck of a job trying to stay behind Brian on that second last restart because I knew he was going to run it all out as far as he could to pull the distance on me. And I was also watching my rearview mirror because I saw Mike coming. I was burning my stuff up trying to hang with Brian, and Mike was coming hard. And I think it surprised Brian when Mike got past both of us. So it was a hard run, and I was able to hold it off tonight.
We're going to get a good look here at that Publix 33. And I know a lot of people support this car. You've got somebody watching here in the chat tonight. Go ahead and shout out anybody that helped make this second victory possible.
Hey, I do. I like getting the support from my Publix management. I've told them about what's going on here, and they seem pretty excited to take a look at this, and they've enjoyed what they've seen. Obviously, we want to thank y'all for putting this broadcast on, because y'all really do make it fun to watch and exciting to share. And I can't thank y'all enough. The sponsors of this league is just phenomenal. I'm going to probably jump ahead of you just a little bit, but I want to make sure I get all this in tonight. I do want to thank V Speed for broadcasting this. Like I said, y'all are top notch, man. I want to thank Bud Kicker, Pimax, Monza Racing, and Superior Performance. And I cannot forget VRX Simulators. They've asked me to join this World Cup for the first season. I'm having a blast with it. I can't thank everybody enough. This is a good group of people to run with, and we have a good time.
Well said. You covered all the bases and got the sponsors out there and read from the script there and the teleprompter exactly the way we told you to here on V Speed. Philip, go enjoy that victory, man. That one, I know Michigan, you felt like things were a little bit of an asterisk, but this one, you earned it.
Yeah, man, this one here will last with me for a little while. I think it was actually better to me than Michigan. Michigan was somewhat of a hang in there to the end and pull out front, but this one right here means a little bit more to me. So shout out to Austin, drink another beer for me, man, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. But thanks for everything, guys. Y'all, I can't wait to go back and watch this broadcast.
Sounds like you had a good time. Appreciate it, Philip, and we'll see you next week at Pocono.
All right, guys, y'all have a good night.
Philip Willis, race winner, 20 laps led, started on the front row, and Connor, we missed the picks here. We're, I think, 0 for 4 now.
We definitely missed him tonight, that's for sure. And I thought Hennings was going to run away with it, but he just did not have the pace on either of the last few runs that we had. And 51 had the pace as well, but Hennings just kind of lost something once he lost the lead. He just couldn't quite fight back to get it.
I think it was clean air. I think that's what he lost here tonight, but ultimately he keeps the streak of top 10s alive. He's going to retain the points lead. Brian Hennings, second place finisher here tonight. You led pretty much half this race. And yeah. I think, again, it goes back to that clean air. Once you lost it, I don't know if we could go back to, somewhere around lap 67, 70, somewhere in there where you tagged the wall and then someone got to your inside.
Myself, yes. My favorite nemesis, the wall.
Yeah. It can go back to that. It could go back to maybe this race kind of flip-flopping on the strategy a little bit. We kind of shortened the pit strategy compared to where we probably would have pitted. And I know you had a massive lead. You were kind of running away with this thing. But again, it goes back to we had so good racing at Vegas, but a lot of tempers, and you knew it was going to boil over here at Iowa. It was inevitable. Your race, though, was quiet, and you did what you needed to do.
Yeah, I was doing what I needed to do. Keyword was until I tagged the wall and I got wheel damage, and so it immediately started, affecting my lap time. And I didn't want to hold up Phil. I wasn't going to be, that driver, but I wasn't paying attention, man. I didn't know Howerton was right behind him, so I'm like, all right, just go low, Phil. And all of a sudden, the two of them went by me. I'm like, oh damn, whoops. You saw I tried to battle him a little bit, and he pulled a nice crossover on me. And so then that other caution helped me because I got my fast repair, got my wheel fixed, and, made a little charge there at the end. I screwed up again, hit the wall, and cars got by me. But then that little bit of chaos happened and sailed through that and somehow held on for a P2. I'm just glad I didn't. Good.
Have you ever considered turning off the mirror?
I don't look at the mirror.
I look at my relative.
I look at my relative, man.
Turn it all off, man. That's all I
Yeah,
got for you. That's the
yeah.
only reason that I could see hitting the wall where you hit it. I don't know.
No, I just the tires were wearing, and I just went in too hot, man. I wasn't even looking at him or the relative. I took the turn wrong, and got into the wall. It's just no fault but my own.
Well, you know what? That's no way for me to talk to a points leader coming into this thing and finishing this thing out with another string of a top 10 finishes, a top 5, another podium. You're looking good here, leading the points. Got the tricky
Love that
triangle
Pimax.
next week. Yeah, wanting that Pimax. I mean, it's a lot to work for here, though. We still got a lot of racing left.
Yep.
Talk about Iowa. We've also got Bristol on the schedule. Indianapolis is a technical racetrack. Poconos are a technical racetrack. There's still some challenges ahead. It's young season, but you're still the points leader coming out of tonight. And I know that you have a lot of people here at VRX that you want to shout out.
Appreciate that. I'll just start with you guys on the broadcasting. Definitely want to watch this one. Big gigantic shout out to Kevin. It was really great to see him out here on the track. We're all pulling for him, and hope he gets better. So it was really nice to see the 99 back out on the track. It's been a while. Just a shout out to all my other VRX teammates. Phil, that was a great run by Phil. It was fun racing him. Howerton, pulled out some late race miracles. Started having to, he should have been restarting 16th or first, and got sent back to 16th and made it back to P3. So good job for Howerton. And I guess I'll shout out my wife and daughter as usual. Love you too. And can't forget Paul Cannon. Hello, sir. And last but not least, Turd Nugget, Mr. Ron Day. What's up, buddy?
Appreciate you coming up here and talking to us, and we'll see you in 7 days next Thursday.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Yep. Pinocchio, no.
Pinocchio. Yep, that is immortalized in our minds forever, etched in our brains. Brian, we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Take care.
Brian hitting second place here tonight at Iowa. And finally, that brings us down to Mike Howerton, who was in reverse across the start-finish line, third place finisher. I believe Connor Horn has caught up with the driver in the number 52.
At number 51 tonight, at least. Mike Howerton is close enough. I mean, it says 52 in the Discord. But Mike, I guess you could say an eventful race at least. They end up third after starting 14th, but even the 11 positions up doesn't even tell the whole story. I mean, you got all the way up to the lead. You made 2 passes for the lead. Yellow comes out. The pace car thing happened. You had to go to the back. You somehow came back for third, and you had to finish backwards to cross the line third. Have you ever had a race like that crazy?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I race a lot of official races, and sometimes weird stuff like that happen at the end. I'm just so glad you guys waited to pull me up last, because if I would have went first, it would have been a totally different interview. I was still cooling off. I was so mad. I've had this happen before. Like, what happened was the caution comes out. I was almost 2 seconds ahead. I was pulling away. If there wasn't a caution, I would have walked away with that one. I was by far the fastest car on the long run. I think I was also the fastest car on the short run, on the track. And when the caution came out, iRacing puts up the message on your screen telling you what to do. It's, it'll say let somebody by, pass somebody, stay behind somebody. It tells you the number to stay behind. If it wants you to let the pace car by, it says let the pace car by. Like, it tells you what to do, and it pops up as stay behind I think it was the 86. I think is what it was. I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it's 86. It just said stay behind him. Didn't tell me to let the pace car by. Didn't tell me to pass nobody. It just said stay behind that guy. I stayed behind him, pulled in, black flag. And that's happened to me. It hasn't happened recently, but that's happened like a couple of different times. Anytime you're in the middle of a long run like that, like we had, and you got cars on multiple laps. You got half the field was multiple laps down, and a caution comes out. It gets crazy because iRacing just doesn't think scores it right, like when during the pace lap going into the pits. I've seen it happen several times, not just to me but to a few other people too.
Yeah, that definitely was tough to see. You somehow, I couldn't believe you were able to recover from it in a good P3. But like you said, you were the fastest long run, maybe the fastest short run, and you started 14th and you got up to the lead and you were pulling away. How fun was it for you? It seemed like you had the track really figured out.
Well, I was mad at myself because I was qualifying and I think I would have got the pole. I was running like a low 26 and the pole was like a 26 or not 26, but a 22.6. 22.6 was the 22 point. I think the pole was 22.622. And I was on my second lap. I was headed to beat it. I was going to come in like right around the pole, first, second, something like that. And right before the start finish line on my second lap during qualifying, my rear end tapped the wall to give me a VRX, which means it didn't count. My qualifying lap didn't count. And I was like, oh crap, where am I going to qualify at? Because my first lap, I wasn't even trying that hard. I was just trying to warm my tires up for the second. And I was like, I looked down. I started in like, I don't know where I started. Was it 13th, 14th? You said. And I was like, well, that's like halfway back the field. And I was like, I hope I don't get wrecked passing my way up. And so I was really careful on that first run until we had the caution there mid race, just methodically, working my way up. And Teresa Spiker popped into the race room I was in. She was watching the broadcast, and apparently you guys had my camera up, and I had my tongue sticking out the whole time. And she told me to stick my tongue back in my mouth, and I was like, I can't. That's how I concentrate. I was locked in, working my way up. And then when that middle of the race caution came out, that caution worked out perfect for me because I was able to get fresh tires, be on the same tires as uh, Brian and Phil and Jason Lyons, and I was able to. I didn't have any ground to make up. I was starting right behind them, so with no ground to make up, so that was perfect for me. And then we had that long green flag run, and I was a little more. I didn't push it. I let them. I think they popped out maybe I don't know a second ahead of me, or maybe a little less, maybe 6, 7 tenths, and I let them do it because I didn't want to burn my tires up. I knew if we had a long run that I was setting pretty good. And then I ended up, like you said, I ended up passing. I think I passed both of them at the same time. Brian, like, I don't know if he hit the wall or got a little loose or something, but and then Phil went under him and I went under Phil. So I think it was like 3 wide on that one. Then me and Phil ran side by side for, I think, a lap until I got around him and cleared him.
Yeah, well,
And
you
then
definitely. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know you were still
Oh
going.
no,
My
no, I
apologies.
was just saying. Then, well, you're probably going to ask about the end. Then when we did that restart, and I got that black flag. I started in 16th, and in 8 laps, I went from 16th to third. I told the guys in the Discord I was in there with in our race room. I said, "Listen, I'm about to get stupid. I'm about to get crazy aggressive. I'm not lifting. I'm not holding back. I'm going to make holes. I'm going to get through." And that's what I did, man. I kept it down. I was heavy in the throttle. I can't believe my rear end held it. I was real careful with the rear end, and I went 4 wide twice and 3 wide a couple of times to be able to make it from 16th to third in like 8 laps.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredible to watch. Like I said, I didn't think you had any chance to get back up there, but you did. Like you said, you ended up backwards across the line, but it's better than not getting to the line third at all. So, congrats on at least getting through there. I know you pretty much had the win, but still a good result for you. Good for the points, Mike. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I just as always appreciate the people who put this on. It's a lot of hard work goes into it, and we couldn't do it without the folks who put the hard work putting it together, and all the sponsors for providing the prizes for the top finishers. I know we got Pimax that is donated I think it's a Pimax Crystal Light for the first place winner, and then we got Moza as a sponsor. Like think them they donated a R5 bundle for the second place winner, and then Butt Kicker kicked in prizes for the third, fourth, and fifth place finishers. And I think it's their Butt Kicker Gamer Pro. So I really appreciate the sponsors doing that, and VRX for sponsoring all the hosted races throughout the year that leads up to the VRX World Cup. And I think I just talked to Brian right before I come up for the interview, and he was tallying up points. And I think this finish, moved me up to fifth place overall. So I guess I'm into the butt kicker if I end up finishing at fifth. So that's good. Appreciate the sponsors and all the folks that do the hard work and put it on, and you guys for doing a great broadcast every week.
Appreciate that, Mike. And you are correct, at least unofficially, but you should be fifth in points. A long way to go, but a few good races in a row back to Vegas. Two straight top threes in a row. So congrats on that. Thanks for talking to us. We will see you next week, hopefully.
You betcha. Thanks.
There you have it. Third place finisher Mike Howerton and the number 51, just to re-clarify. And finally, I got one more driver to talk to here before we get all things said and done. He's up there probably talking post-race, but we're going to pull him in here and interrupt whatever you have going on. Father Mulcahy, it's time to talk to us up here in V-Speed. I said if you got on the racetrack, I would pull you in here, and it looks like you're here. Yeah, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word.
Well, felt good to be out there, but unfortunately I could only get about 30 laps in, and then my back gave out.
Well, the back giving out is one thing, but let's talk about the 99 car, superior performance. You're a big part of supporting this group. I don't blame your back for giving out. So, I mean, when you're carrying the whole team, that makes sense that your back's handling all that weight.
I don't carry that much of the team. They do a good job themselves.
Well, on top of all of that, superior performance and what you built as a company, what you put forth here at VRX, coming out here on the racetrack tonight, it was good to see you back out on V-Speed and in an iRacing setting.
Oh, it felt good to be out there tonight, and I'm definitely going to keep coming back as long as I can keep pushing it.
Keep pushing it every single day, man. That's what it's all about.
Yep, pushing it every day. That's what I do. Don't listen to anybody but myself.
Well, I've never treated you any different in any situation, but I'm going to treat you a little bit differently here tonight. I'm going to ask you who makes it possible for you to keep going, keep striving, and got you on the racetrack tonight.
Right now, mostly my family, VRX, my higher power. It just, everybody's pushed.
Hey, man. We appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. Is there a chance that we'll see you at Pocono?
Is that next Friday or Thursday?
That would be next Thursday at 9:30 p.m.
I will definitely going to be trying. I will be practicing this week. I didn't get much practice on this track this week, so Pocono, yeah, I definitely will be there.
All right, Tricky Triangle. Father Mulcahy going to be up here, and we appreciate you taking that effort. And hopefully, you know what? I want a top 10 for next week.
Top 10. I'm going to get on the world. That's an easier track than, of course, Iowa, but yeah, I shouldn't have a problem with that.
All righty then. Well, I'll put you back up there. I know you were probably mingling with a guest and having a good time. Appreciate you coming down here and talk to us.
All right. Thank you very much.
That is Kevin Mulcahy in the number 99. And for those of you that don't know, the situation has changed there with the 99. So we just want to, pay our dues, man. It's Connor. There's a lot of people here, and I know you're relatively new to the broadcasting segment of things, but VRX, mentioned it there at Michigan, has been a part of V-Speed. It's kind of woven into the fabric, and the relationships that I have had personally with everybody here, and it's just it's surreal, without disclosing too much. It's kind of hard. You grow up, you get older, and things change, and so I guess I feel like I don't know. You make me feel old enough, Connor. Every week you remind me of my age.
Oh,
and I got a day older.
I greatly appreciate that. I try not to, but this is a, it happens, but this is a, it might not seem like it as much, but it's a pretty small community is sim racing, but it feels a lot bigger because you have a lot of people, a lot of connections, and you really try to cherish those connections in this sim racing because they can last for a lifetime, no doubt, and it's just such a tight-knit community at times, for sure.
It's borderline a cult. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Iowa. And, speaking of relationships, I've got a good one here with my co-commentator, but we're going to move on to next week. We're going to start talking about the next race up. It's the Tricky Triangle. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on V Speed. You can catch the entire season of the VRX World Cup 2025 edition, November 20th. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We have plenty of oval action, dirt racing, multi-class series. Everything is possible here. Lots going on. Connor, what do you think here for the Tricky Triangle?
Should be a fun one. I don't really know what to expect with the ARCA cars. It's definitely going to be a draft race. Dirty air in the tunnel turn is not something I wish upon anyone, but that's something everyone in this race next week is going to have to deal with, and what I believe would be our final race before Thanksgiving. So should be a fun one. I don't know who's going to win it. It might be one of those toss-ups with how important draft might be. We might not even get through the tunnel turn on some restarts, but I love Pocono. Should be a fun one.
It's Pinocchio, as it's come to be known here on V Speed. My co-host, Connor Horn. Our other owners, Anna Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, and Alex Gagnon, another producer that we just recently brought on. It's Bradley Cooper saying so long from the 7/8 mile in the middle of the country. It's time to go back to Appalachia. We'll see you in 7 days' time, just before Thanksgiving. Stay tracking, everybody.